about to go down. We about to tap in with Mr. Mike Richardson, NBA. Correction, Mr. Mike Richardson, in National Basketball Military Basketball Tournament director, and how basically the event with this weekend. We got NBA action. We got so much more. Ain't no telling what we're going to really get and talk about. First Formation Morning Sports Talk. Y'all know what it is. Let's go.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, morning, everyone. How you doing? It's me, your boy Trey. You got Mr. Mike Richardson, National Military Basketball Tournament director, First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So fall in, basically. Let's get to it. How you doing this morning, Mr. Richardson?
Hey, recovering.
I knew I had to give you a day or so. You was up in the atom, running around, just doing what you're supposed to do in your element. Definitely, successful weekend, of course. As we continue to give the flower, give everything to Jasmine Greene and the JBLE Raptors, as they are this year's national champions. Coach Paris, Coach of the Year, and plenty of other accolades in which we're going to talk about, in which basically y'all gave out. But of course, like I was saying, hats off to you. 14 years, event still going strong. People flying in to check out the event, the supporters, everything like that. What does that feel like when you walk into the building and you look around and you see the new school, the old school, those just contributing? What's that feeling that enacts for you?
Oh man, be honest, it was almost overwhelming to a point.
Okay.
But like I told the coaches at the coaches meeting on Thursday night, my intentions is to use basketball. I get geeked probably two times a year, and that's during the Armed Forces tournament, and of course our National Military Basketball tournament, which takes part like 6 months apart. So like I told the coaches, we use basketball as an excuse
Mm-hmm.
as to bring everybody in to fellowship, break bread, share stories, talk trash, and of course, at the same time, we have some basketball going on, some great military basketball going on. So for me, it was huge. It was great. Um, JBLE came down here and did that thing.
Look at she got the necklace on.
Yeah, they did work. But overall, the tournament was outstanding. Um, it was great, and probably the best part of it, Trey, was actually after the tournament was won, and I get the greatest satisfaction out of watching the celebration. The celebration was off the easy. They enjoyed it. The rings, the caps, the banner, cutting down the nets. It it was great to give them that real no kidding, like the NCAA national championship feel. It was in the building. It was great. Had the DJ playing One Shining Moment. They cutting down the nets. Hey, ask Coach Green how it
Yeah, I was about
was.
to say Coach Greene in the building, 2020
Hmm.
champion. Ah, there's all I'm saying across the stratosphere, the metaverse. Ha is all I see. Ha, Natties. Ha. You
Man,
said, Coach Greene, what's it like? Talk to
my hand been heavy for about 2 days now. It's
us.
just my luggage. I was a little overweight because I had to add something to it. It was. Oh my God. I'm wearing my net to school today. I'm at work. I'm in class. I come here and tell my students we won, and they're like, "What? Okay." Like, so they
It's in
done
the
brought me
history books
down a little
now.
bit. Yeah,
It's in the
but
history books
yeah,
now. They read about it.
yeah, it's really cool. I'm so excited. I'm still excited. I'm still happy.
So, what, Coach Green? What was it? You're saying. Of course, we caught some of the games on the first day, being a Friday. Conversated a little bit. What did you at any point feel like that it was in this moment was in jeopardy at any point throughout the tournament to where you really had to dig down and dig deep and get your team motivated and move the forth?
I knew we were going to win the tournament from our preparation that we've been preparing for this since last year when we
Okay.
lost in the tournament. But um, we had a must-win game. That third game that we played in pool play, we had to win. And I might be jumping out and saying something crazy, but I think we were the only team to win a game by 40 something points this whole tournament. So that must-win game, we really put our feet on the pedal, and my God, we won by 40 and really had to get out there and play. So that was the only time I was like, look, y'all, all this work we done did, we gotta win this game to get to where we want to be.
Mm. So, and that what team was that against? But that was your final game in pool play, correct?
Yeah, it was Benning. So we had lost to Hawaii in our second game
Hmm.
by one, ironically. And then we beat Benning the next morning, the next
And
day.
and then you faced off against Hawaii again for the championship.
Yeah. And won by one.
So of course, I'm very sure. I'm very sure that is, saying, very satisfying at the end. But what was the mindset going in to know that you had to face Hawaii that second time around? They had just beat you by one. Was it that exactly they beat you by one? So you knew you were this wasn't a tall task in which you had to face or anything.
Revenge. That's how we saw it. As soon as we heard we had Hawaii, we were like, oh, yeah. We got something to get back because we shouldn't have lost the first time, but we had to
So
handle that.
So, what do you say about everything in which was given? Like, what were you said your hand is heavy,
Yeah.
a little bag a little heavier as you're going through. A couple of your players walking off with some things. So, Coach Green, Coach Richardson, what was the package like? I get a chance to see the package except for going through the page, the pictures and stuff through on social media. What was the package which was given completely? If y'all can take me through that.
So what we give actually, the champions actually get uh, championship caps,
Mm-hmm.
championship T-shirts, and that's champion. Of course, the ring,
Mm-hmm.
trophy.
This one right here.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
the prize package goes for about 5K,
Mm.
and the runner-ups also get tees, um, and a trophy as well. Third place gets a trophy, and then we have the five All-Americans, which most outstanding player, which is Brandon Goldsmith from Langley,
Okay.
um, All-American Ramel Bethea. He also is All-American from Langley. Um, Jalen Tolliver from Hawaii Elite.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Haley, everybody, Haley made All
Haley.
American.
Okay.
Um, and then from Luke, Darian Donald.
Okay.
So prize package is really nice.
So the middle game, that being between the third place game and the championship game, the all tournament all stars. How did that game go down?
Oh man, they had fun. It was the All Star game. Well, obviously, Coach Green, she didn't get to attend because they were going like in a double overtime game at the other gym.
Oh my
You know,
God.
so we had All Americans that didn't get to play because they was still
They was
battling
locked
for
in.
like
Hmm.
2.5 hours. In the other gym. So they were Luke and Langley was going at it to see who was going to get to the chip. So, but the All Star game was awesome. It also was live streamed. Um, we put a little twist on it. We actually had all on forces coaches
Mm.
coaching each team.
Okay.
Um, honorary coach, uh, some consider the GOAT, Carl Little, coached
Back
one team.
back on the sidelines, huh?
Yeah, Brandon Mitchell was coaching the other team.
Okay.
It
Marine.
was great. Guys was tired though. They were tired. So we second half we kind of went to running clock.
Okay.
And at the meantime, I want to say by the time that the All Star game finished, Langley and Luke probably had just finished probably about 20 minutes before that. So that's how long their game went.
So, Coach Green, let's walk back a little bit in the time. Take us to that Langley Luke game, double overtime game, uh, doing battle, having to go back and forth. What was that like in that experience, especially knowing that this is for all the opportunity to go to the championship?
That was a tough game. That was our first overtime game that we've ever played. So having to play overtime was a little bit shaky in itself. I was sitting there like, oh snap, we got people in foul trouble. They got people in foul trouble. I don't know. My wheels have been turning all morning, but it was exciting. And then we got to play in a double overtime, which gave us another chance. And we only got there because they missed my timeout. I called timeout with 3 seconds left, and they didn't hear it. So I couldn't draw up one last play, but I'm glad we pulled it out because it was really exciting to be a part of that, especially with Luke and the coach of the year. So
Hmm.
I'm glad we got to really show who we were in that very tough moment.
So, of course, it's a fraternity of sorts amongst coaches and players and everything. Um, so now you can say you're amongst the many few that have won the tournament, right? 12, of course, if I correct, this is the 14th one. So 12 other coaches have won it before. Uh, tell 12 teams, of course. Now you get to put your name in the hat to join another coach that has won it two times before. Uh,
Oh, cool.
but I mean, it's hard, evidently, as no one else has done it for the
She's the
most
first.
part.
She's the first lady though.
And she is now, so you do have your own to claim. And
She's
I,
the
and I
only
asked,
one so far.
I was about to ask Coach Richardson, how many times has there been a lady coach that has graced the sidelines in the nationals, and of course, like you said, she is the first. But
I
how
want to
often has that?
say, actually, Kim Green,
Kim, okay, shout out
Kim,
Kim.
Kim,
Good
Kim
for you.
coached the team in the tournament
Okay,
earlier in our early years,
okay.
but Jazz is the first one to win it all. So yeah, and coincidence, both last name Green
With the E.
That is
with the E.
with the
Yeah,
E.
so
Yep.
which is
Uh,
Yep.
it's pretty cool.
No relation though. I met her a few years ago.
So, of course, Junie's in the chat. He's saying that the overtime game really gave you an opportunity, a chance to watch you coach and really, and you did exactly what you needed to do. Of course, Snow, what up, champs? That's a shout out. So, so that moment again, and you spoke on it. He's speaking on it to the point to where it. Would you say that was a point in which you definitely grew up in coaching because it was something in which you hadn't faced before, as you said, and this, saying the the most pressure that it could have been is this could have been in a championship game, but it was for the game putting you in that and putting you in that moment. So, uh, as in your coaching career, would you say this could be the most defining, or is it the championship?
This whole tournament, honestly.
Okay,
Ironically enough, those two players that just commented,
Snow and Flowers.
um, yeah, the game I knew we won this whole tournament was when we played Colorado,
Mm-hmm,
because those two players are my two starting guards, right?
mm-hmm,
And that Colorado game at halftime, after I finished my whole spiel, they came to me and they said, "Don't start us the second half."
mm,
Because the people who were playing that first half really were giving us everything we needed to win that game. And if those two people didn't step up and say that, I would have had to dig deep in my heart to do it myself. But we really grew up as a team in that game specifically, and that I think that game said we're about to win this tournament. Because if you can step down and say my playing time is not important, winning this is,
as
you
a
can't
whole.
beat
Yeah.
that. You can't beat that. It was a bigger goal in their eyes, and their playing time wasn't part of it. So those two players really pushed us to the end.
And that sounds like something similar to what Coach Walcott, we heard him say all the time, building that connection with your players, and which goes above and beyond those between the lines and on the hardwood, and going that. And I when I sit back and look at it and listen to you speak that, and hearing him have talked about it, and why, I mean, we talking about last year's Coach of the Year, to where saying that speaks in volumes, to where saying maybe you might hear a certain lady getting an award next year. I'm just saying, I don't know. Saying, I ain't got a crystal ball or anything, but I'm just
Off
saying,
to a great start.
yeah, saying, and so it's just things. Saying, funny how the world works.
Yeah,
Lou in the chat, of course, champs in the building.
that's right.
JBLE in the building, and it's so. Let's even go back a little further. As you said, it started last year. If and I know there was some if I could remember correctly, I remember there was a few issues in general with the basketball team and how if they were going to play. Then you come last year, you play in the tournament. When did y'all lose last year? How early
Like,
of the exit was it?
we didn't win a game last year. Oh, and I think we played 5 games or 4 games. Didn't
4
win
games.
one. Yeah. So
To go from 4 games, not to go from a goose egg in a tournament to close to a
yeah,
perfect outing. Just 1 point separating y'all. I mean, again, speaks to volumes in the tenacity of a team, tenacity of a coach, tenacity of that bond, and everything. Again, live in front of everybody, I want to say that thank you, Coach, for giving me that trust in this season. Being here for 4 years, and coaches have slept on me since. So I thank you. And see again,
Aw.
continue, continue. You know what I'm saying? Accolades and everything like that. That speaks so much more than just basketball. In a sense, this is life lessons and stuff like that, where people
Yeah.
are going for. But of course, getting that back into the sport in itself. Who, if you had to sit up and say, what was the biggest surprise to you? First, I asked you, Coach Green, what was the biggest surprise to you in the tournament in general, as far as the team stuff
Mm.
like that and play?
My
Was it
team?
your team?
What are you saying? Are you saying my team or
Just in
all the
general,
teams?
like being there, knowing there. What was the biggest surprise, or in which you came and see? In which, I mean, for me, it was well, nah, I'm not gonna say that yet. Just in general, from the tournament aspect, what was the biggest surprise of what you see? Whether it was how a team played, how a team didn't play, seeing certain players, certain people on other people's roster when it comes to the free agent. Like, what was that surprise to you?
That's always the fun part. Honestly, it was that people didn't expect us to win or do well. Like, I heard a lot of conversations. I seen a lot of things, and I'm just like, dang, y'all think we didn't earn this number one pool spot, this number two overall spot? Like,
Mm.
so that was the most shocking part to me. Like, y'all really don't think we can do this, but we did.
Hey, and to chime in on that, because all year I get beat up on my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how the Final Four? Two of my one seeds was in the Final Four,
Correct.
and a 2 seed and a 3 seed. Two of them, which I told you all way back last month in March when I came out with the pools, I told you that East region was going to be a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Both from the East region was in the final. Hawaii Elite, Langley, both from the same pool. And clearly, the other two teams that didn't move on from that pool probably could have been a top seed or close to a top seed in the other pools.
Mm-hmm.
So, for all those people that be beating up on me about my rankings, he didn't see. I watched everybody play.
Mm-hmm.
So they made me a prophet. So congrats again to JBLE.
Thank
I didn't
you.
doubt you. If y'all read my write-up that I did on JBLE, hey, I told everybody in the profile that they were loaded.
Yeah.
They were loaded.
And then
So
for you, Coach Richardson, what did you see as the biggest surprise in the tournament?
um, there wasn't really no surprises because basically I picked all the teams that's in the tournament. So um, so it wasn't really no surprises, but probably for other folks, a lot of folks thought that Lackland probably would have done a lot better.
Hmm.
That being that they had home court or whatever. But hats off to Coach Paris. I mean, that probably was one of the games of the tournament.
Okay.
The actual Lackland Luke showdown that they had on Saturday evening. That one went overtime, and uh, but other than that, there was some there was some great basketball. Probably the most surprising thing was the amount of talent. Man, it was some great basketball. You were there. It was a lot of talent on every roster.
Yeah, it
And
was.
that's and like you said, I was there, so that's why maybe I'm gonna say the stuff in which everyone else ain't saying. The fact that in which I didn't get a chance to catch to see what the final was, the final standing on it was, but the fact that last year's champions didn't win a game, like I'm just gonna sit up and put that out there. And I get it, what I'm saying. Of course, when I looked up and saw that,
They did win the game.
so
They
they
beat
lost the last.
Carson.
They won the Okay. They won the last game. So
Yeah,
that
they
that's
beat.
interesting. Carson. So 1-2 on the fact. So that looking at that, but of course that happens. You're saying
It's
it's
basketball.
expected. Yeah, it's basketball. Anyone saying even given day, the fact that they beat Carson. The Carson was one of your top four,
Final
correct?
four.
Yeah, so it happened. So, but that was surprising to me when I looked up and seen that. I saw the course of game, their first game, a tough one, and in which it came down. uh, Lewis had a squad, played very well as a unit, and that's what I'm like and hearing all the conversation. Everyone playing together as a unit and getting there. In state, the champs is here. That's what all that matters. So, like I said, going back into it, the tournament play. If Do you think there could have been a potential different outlook if the brackets if the regions was different? Would there be anything in which you would have changed for a competitive standpoint, or you believe, or is it that saying it was perfect for this particular year? Next year it might change a bit. We might see some different teams in any way. What would be some things if you had to say you would have tweaked something here and there? Would it be, if anything?
Um,
That 8 o'clock
oh,
game.
The 8 o'clock games.
Man, that hurt.
somebody got to play at 8 o'clock. We got two
Man.
gyms and we got 16 teams, and for the most part, but you did get good breaks, didn't you, in between gameplay, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
Especially grateful for that.
yeah. So what we try to do is is San Antonio is an attraction in itself. So we
Hmm.
want people to not only just come down as their teams, but come with their families. So they can go out there, experience the Riverwalk, go out there, experience the Alamo. Um, the other things that San Antonio has to bring. And plus, our tournament's right in the middle of Fiesta. So it's like Fiesta is like 2.5 weeks long in April.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of things for them to do. The nightlife is great. So we try to give them a little bit of everything, not just be sitting up in the bench in the gym all day. So to give them time to unwind, go enjoy themselves, enjoy the food, the music, mariachi bands, whatever you want to do. So, um, but other than the pools, um, I got exactly what I wanted to get out of it. I wanted great matchups. I wanted games that people wanted to see. The trash talk has been going on all year. Hey, the
Hmm.
best of the best, those that didn't get to make it to the Capital Classic, well, guess what? We're going to try to line up the 16 best teams that we could at the time. Of course, unfortunately, you can't pick everybody. So there are a couple teams that were very high up in the rankings early on, but kind of fell off, ebbs and flows, and then picked back up. Unfortunately, they got hot after the things already selected.
The thing about it, they get a whole year to run it back and get in there and do it again.
To do what Langley did.
Yes. Oh, is that
Go
part
back,
exactly?
go back and regroup. Come back ready.
So of course, he said talking trash has been quite since I see. I saw with Snow was like, "Hey, the chat room has been quiet. The social media has been quiet since he won." And then so of course, Coach Walcott did what he did to stir it back up. Mike Barker, shout out to hats off to Hero Sports, giving a lot of people opportunity to be able to see it, at least see it from the from Chaparral.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
of course,
they were great. Thank you.
They put the extra views up. They did a bang up job. Big time.
Another like we talking about the coaching, a very humbling experience, of course, for one particular coach in that was out that was out there coaching.
Where he at
this weekend? T. Morris and Eglin Air Force Base, of course. It was a rough one for him. But I mean, it happens. I mean, I'm very sure it was all love and everything like that. I watched everyone talk to him, and get on them. A couple of things. It's all a lot. It's all a lot. Of course, some stuff I'm not going to talk about here, but it was a lot. Alonzo, see, and even got people that wasn't there that's still talking about it. It'll humble you. What you going to say? He talked about it. He came on, even though he was still talking actually, because when I did a short interview with him right before his next pool play game, he said they played against Charleston. Charleston was in the building, but he's like they played Charleston. So
low key they did.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't always work out as we talked about and we speak on it. Okay, I was saying thanks to Hero Sports, his grandma got the chance to see him play for his first time since college. So everything, like I said, I look at it sometimes is bigger than the sport in itself. Just connections in general, laugh, having good times. So, Coach Richardson, from an aspect of all for armed forces sports, was there a good showing to where some coaches got a chance to see some players and it's like, okay, maybe I need to be keeping an eye out and looking at some people for some invites?
I sure hope so.
For the most part, most of the players we already know because most of them already are playing at that level.
Roger that.
But there were a few diamonds in the rough that was looked at and very pleased with. There's going to be quite a few guys that we bring them to the fold. Hopefully, if we can get them.
I know
Luke two guards need to invite to camp. I don't care.
As I was looking at one particular, mainly because I know him in a sense, Darius Richards, in which I see he kind of got, I ain't gonna say humble, but he had to guard Eccles, in which Eccles in that first game came out hot. I was like, okay, he is as advertised. Kind of fell off in the second half. I don't know what, if it was the legs for the first game or anything like that, but I listened to him on the sideline. His teammates continued to pick him up, like, saying you did great, you did good, and all and things of that nature. So again, listening and hearing, and again, this is what we're talking about. You have JBLE players, attaboy and other players, giving shout outs to saying who should be looked at and everything. And
oh yeah, no question.
Yeah,
well, Lou was a 7-time gold medalist, so he knows exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So, yeah, Lou, both of them are already locked in.
Hey, I want to mention about all armed forces.
Yes.
Ramel Bethea, our big man, 6'9", he was on that All Navy team in November, and he didn't get my goal. Well, my goal for this tournament, one was to win, but two was to show what he can do, because I don't think they they used him properly. And I wanted them to see how good he is, how big he can be, how much of a sponge he is, what a great defender and blocker he is. Like, he is amazing as a person and as a player, and he's the most coachable person on this team. And I don't think he got what he deserved in All Navy. And I really wanted to prove a point with him during this tournament, and I think he proved it. And I hope they were watching and paid attention.
Oh. Now, Ramel proved quite a bit in 6 months. And we talked about it. You know, his head coach, All Navy coach is sitting right next to me.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's loving what he got right now. You know, he's loving what he has right now.
Good, because he does the work. He's in the gym as much as any of the guards. Like, you don't see a lot of post players working on their game, right? But he is in the gym as much as our guards are, and he has grown leaps and bounds. And I'm so proud of him for showing.
And he got in the weight
showing all the
room.
work. Yeah, because he knows.
Yeah, he got bigger too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with me, myself, and Bishop was on the sideline talking about. Like, I mean, he was altering shots. You know, what I'm saying, you had a lot of people beat off the dribble. He coming on the backside. So clearly and concisely, it did what it had to do as a big man. You know, what I'm saying, one of those bigger individuals in the dignity. Who was y'all first game? Who played against the Marines? The first one.
Pendleton.
Was that y'all? Yeah, Pendleton. Was that y'all? Did y'all play against Pendleton first?
Yes.
Okay, so Chris Harris, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
He wasn't there at that game though.
Okay. So
he came in the next day.
The next game. So I knew I had seen this. I knew I had seen his name. But yeah, he's like you said, as advertised, he did exactly what he needed to do at altering shots, blocking shots,
Hitting
anchoring
shots.
defense. Yeah, hitting shots. Yeah. So a full spectrum. He's still in the lab every day asking questions, so he'll do even better next year when that time comes. Of course, in which everyone.
That's 6 months from now.
So.
Game planning already.
See, I was about to ask the question, like, so when does it start again, Coach Greene? When does the run back, the journey again starts for JBLE to get ready to run this thing back once again, to make it a two-peat back to back?
So we trying to say without saying. So with the coaching staff they had last year, they took breaks. They didn't want to play in tournaments all year. We're not taking no breaks. We got a tournament in July. We have the Pro-Am this summer, and then we right back into it. What's a break?
So
you can't. If we took breaks, we wouldn't have that chemistry. What's a break? We wouldn't have that chemistry that we have.
There is no off season.
There isn't. You have to keep working because you have goals, right? We have people on this team who want to be all Navy, all Air Force. You take a break, now somebody's taking your spot. We don't got time for that. Keep going.
And so, and that is what it looks like as opposed to being a basketball team to being a program. In-state is, so people come in, we know it's military, so you're going to have people going to come, people going to go, and at that point, you basically, the game rewinds with the next bit of people in which you get in, maybe, hopefully some new discovered jewels, some older ones, some ones that's coming in so I respect that, of course. Coach Walcott in July already champ.
Oh wow, thank you.
So, and for you, Coach Richardson, of course you got other things on your slate too, but when does the re-engagement in reference to nationals begin then for you? Because of course y'all are NMBT. When does that restart again for you and your committee?
So right now, all of our focus is mainly most of the folks on the committee. We start. Mike is nonstop because Mike thinks about our other sports.
Roger.
But like as basketball, now my focus pretty much a lot goes towards armed forces now.
Correct.
we use this tournament to kind of get those last minute folks a look. Guys like Darius Richards, they get their opportunity when they come to the national to get that look, because in a couple months our windows open up for applications. So now it turns into, it gets real high pace. We're looking at now kind of finalizing which guys that we're going to invite to camp. We start looking at that stuff, and we get that information out for those guys to start applying that we've seen. And of course, that comes in July. August, we're hitting the ground running. We're talking about getting ready for Armed Forces. October's the camp. Tournaments in November. After that, you got shape. We're going Team USA, going overseas, all that stuff. Then, as soon as we get back, normally the week after Thanksgiving, that's when we start ramping back up, because at this time the post level teams they start their season around Labor Day, around September, October timeframe. That's when they're doing their preseason games. So we start our rankings. We'll do a preseason ranking around October, which of course Langley will be number one.
Yeah,
They will be the preseason number one coming in until they get beat or whatever. Oh well, it just happened this year. Fort Hood was wire to wire number one. They just didn't get it done in the tournament.
You remember where you started us?
Yeah, 12.
Deservingly so.
Yeah, y'all was number 12, but
We had to
not
claw.
far from the top 10, because I always knew Langley's probably been in the last 5 to 6 years. They've been near or at the top of the polls. People forget the year that we actually COVID hit, when we didn't have the tournament.
2019.
Yeah, I'm talking, it was 28-1. They was coming in number one, and we didn't have the tournament. So, they only lost one game that whole year. And so there is no sleeping on Langley. Langley can't sneak up on nobody. I mean, I know it's great bulletin board material for Snow and Coach Jazz. When people talk about they weren't expecting them to win. They was expecting. They know they was gonna be there. They wouldn't have been the number one seed if they wasn't expected to be there.
So said that record was made up respectively. Of course, I'm very sure some backstories and all that. But saying in any case, like I said, Coach Jazz said it's basically it's no off time. It's zero.
There's no off season.
It's no off season. It keep it going on. Of course, Perk in the building, Slow do some work. So and then Coach Richardson, of course, being that they got things that they got to take care of. So of course, it's all expected. Dodging who's dodging teams COVID season. So it again now is back in a slight break. So what's up? You just said, Coach. What are the games that are up for you? This coming up in the next couple of months? As we know, AAU is one of them.
Yeah, we have that in Orlando, and then we play in the pro-am here in the summer, because that's top talent. Those are professional players, college athletes, people who used to be dogs. Like, it's a good time for us, and we get to learn a lot. Last year we played for the first time in it, and we got third or fourth. We got fourth, and that wasn't expected. People thought we were just some old people out there trying to hoop. So it was good. We had a good time with that, and then we get the season starting in September. I think we do our tryouts in September. I'm trying to figure out when we're doing them this year, but we're ready. Let's keep going.
I asked this question, Coach. JBLE are we always hear the conversation and talk about Fort Hood having an immense amount of talent pool to potentially go from that? What is the talent pool on JBLE?
Do you see all the guys we had
Well,
on our team are at
well.
JBL?
So is there anyone in which basically, unfortunately, they couldn't get on the squad in which we haven't seen yet, or anything like that, or is it like you said, strictly like the talent which I have? I mean, top champions in state.
They
Is it
are in the military mecca right now
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay, got you.
yeah.
because you got Little Creek up in that area. You got Norfolk up there. They don't have military
Okay.
teams, so they got to play somewhere.
Right.
You know,
And
they
then we're joint base with Eustis, and we have no Army guys on our team. I don't know where they're at, what they're doing, where they hanging out at, but none of them come to hoop. So I'm
yeah, they
sure
normally
there's
go to
something at Eustis, but I think they play with Fort Lee probably or
Fort Lee.
something. But we're in a nice space. It's real nice out here. Got a lot of
I
people
used
to
to,
choose from.
I used to see that all the time because I was in a transportation unit for like 10 years, and that's all I used to hear is about Eustis, the beach, Eustis, Eustis, Eustis. I almost thought about trying to go down there, then I came to my senses because I mean I was quartermaster, so I was just down the street and Lee myself, so just down the coast. Um,
And
Haley,
that's the ironic thing too, that we were missing people.
mm,
So,
Not on my watch though. I know who out there.
oh yeah. A lot of people didn't realize that Parker is here. Parker's here. Parker is at Langdon.
so nothing but ball. So lately, that's the well, I was about to say the kept secret, but it's not a kept secret. Evidently, it's just people was missing. So imagine that. So that sounds real tantalizing for another run. They're running back another 2 years in a row, wire to wire, number one picks. I mean, number one seeds ranking, and potentially even maybe a number one seed to win the championship. After that, I guess there's a lot more mountains to climb, and a lot more accolades to be earned. Real quick, before you get any further, speaking of mountains to climb, Philadelphia and Boston, did y'all see it happening
I was
without
sleeping.
Joel?
I went
Without
to bed.
Joel. Oh, you went to sleep? Oh, well, I
Yeah,
figured, like I
winning takes
said,
a lot of energy.
It's all
talk to
about
him nice,
matchups.
coach. Talk to him nice, coach. Stop playing. So, coach, you said it's all about matchups. You think this is a bad matchup for Boston? I mean, not for Boston. I mean,
When you think about not, I won't say it's a bad matchup for Boston, but what has happened is Philadelphia has built their team to match up with Boston
mm,
because it's been Boston has been their Achilles heel for a while now.
mm-hmm,
They had all these number one picks, and none of them have panned out really. They shipped Simmons away
mm-hmm.
to get Harden so finally I think they're starting to get they got their team concept together now. They actually got a good team to mesh, you know. So Boston's not going away, but you know, it's gonna be a tight series. It's gonna be nick and tuck every game.
So, of
I
course,
wouldn't be surprised if it goes seven.
last night, James Harden, 45.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 26 points, 26 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 4 steals from Tyrese Maxey, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, Tobias Harris, 17 points from DeAnthony Milton, uh, 10 points from Reed, that actually was it. Niang with 3 points. Of course, for the Boston Celtics, what we would expect, of course, nothing less. Jason Tatum, 39 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists from Jaylen Brown, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists from Malcolm Brogdon, sixth man of the year. Uh, Derek White, 4 points, 12 points. Marcus Smart, 11 points. Al Horford, but just couldn't get the job as they
That part right there, Marcus
Horford,
Smart,
Marcus Smart.
he's the key
That's what's going to be
because
keeping.
he's gonna have to lock up Harden.
Oh, last night you see he showed that it wasn't going to be possible.
Hmm
4 point dub, Philadelphia without Joel Embiid. So just like Coach Jasmine was just talking about, they didn't have all their people. Uh, what does that look like potentially for Philly getting a win without them, and Joel's not even playing. Do we see a shift if Joel comes back, or do you think they actually will win this if Joel doesn't come back or can sit out the next 2 games? Is this possible for Philadelphia, or was that just a one-off that called them slipping? In your opinion,
Each
Usually he
game
doesn't
is
come
about
back too much.
each game is about not only the matchups, but who is going to adjust. You got to adjust and adapt game to game. Game Gameplay changes. The game plan changes day to day. So, of course, when and if he comes back, automatically the game plan changes for Philly. So, because clearly he's the number one option right now. Harden feels great being the number one option because that's what he did at Houston. That's what he did towards his later years at Oklahoma City. So he's a proven number one option. But things will change when Embiid comes back. So you just got to adapt. You got to adapt day to day.
oh, I don't know about this. Do y'all think Doc is a Hall of Fame coach? Has he done enough to get that as a hall as a? I mean, he does have a championship. Based on what he's done in Philly, Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I don't
most
know about
definitely.
Doc.
He's going to be when it's all said and done. Yes.
I mean, yeah, without a doubt, yeah. Because he still has. I mean, he still has the championship from Boston.
Exactly.
So, uh,
And he's one of the ambassadors of the league, man. He is. He's one of the ambassadors of the league.
uh,
They're going to put him in.
Coach Cal in the comments, Harden showcasing for Houston. Harden is not going back to Houston. Philly strip clubs ain't doing enough when Joel comes back. Those attempts go down, and that was we was getting at. Like if that would be possible, are they going to be exist in the same and on the same court? But I mean, Harden's a point guard now, or he's doing what he has to do, getting into the spots. He went into shooting guard mode. 45 points, highest score his career high. It'd be interesting if he falls back. Now, the other game, of course, in which Denver and Phoenix, for a second, I thought Phoenix had an opportunity. Devin Booker, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Kevin Durant, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. DeAndre Ayton, and then it went off. It kind of dropped from there. Chris Paul, 8 points. Of course, he did leave the game early. May be out longer than expected. Cameron Payne, 2 points. 2 points from Josh Okogie. 2 points from Bizak Biyombo. And that's it. Those are all the scoring was done on the backs of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Is this over? Is the series over for Phoenix? In
No.
your opinion, coach?
No.
You give them a chance?
No.
Ooh.
It's 2 games. They got to go there too. They get the Phoenix. It's 2-2.
You think well, before I get there,
They get both. They get both in Phoenix.
Nikolai Jokic, 39 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block last night. Porter, 5 points on the night, 4 rebounds. As it was a slow and off night for him. Kendall Caldwell Pope, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block.
That guy right there.
Yeah.
He probably won't show up the rest of the series.
KCP, probably not. You're right. He really made the difference.
He had a career game last night.
16 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 points from Aaron Gordon. Murray, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 9 points from Bruce Brown with 2 points, and Green with 2 points. But I think you're correct in saying that Caldwell Pope, KCP definitely picked up the slack, and from that was slacking from Porter.
And you're not going to see Murray no more with probably just 10 points. That's crazy.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, he's not, and especially after that first game. So I was going back to what you were saying. Phoenix should be done, but Cam Payne can run that offense. No matter what time in the playoffs, just a matter of time in the playoffs. So going back to what you said, we know, which has been the conversation which we already had, Phoenix is lacking depth. Depth. Do you think really that with that lack of depth that they can still rid off one or two? You said two, but even 1-2 games at home
Mhm.
in the best of 7?
Yep. They only need to get one in Denver. That can be done. Gets to game 7, anything can happen. You only need one. If you protect home court,
Mm-hmm.
you only need one. If you're the road team, you only need to get one.
I really would think that depth is going to hurt them, which is probably going to be like we see what they look like with Chris Paul, Aiden, Booker, KD. We see what they look like. Now it's time to build their bench, in which I think is going to be one of those years where Denver is probably going to is going to make it back to um, the Western Conference Final. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm looking. We was just talking about the COVID year. It could potentially be that exactly. The Lakers getting back potentially. I know I want to put the horse too far in front of the carriage too far in front of the horse, but the Lakers are primed to have an opportunity to make it back to the Western Conference Finals. Potentially face off against Denver again, quote unquote, like the bubble. You got Miami on the other side. That was our opponent in during what is they call the bubble season. I don't know. It's looking pretty good. I'm there for it. That sign and trade for Kyrie Phoenix just got pricey. Stop it, Coach Cal. Kyrie is not going to Phoenix.
That's
That'd
where he
be
wants
some.
to be.
That would be ridiculous. They can't do that.
That's where he wants to be,
You know
though.
what? If they try to do that, they need to do what David Stern did when CP3 was supposed to go to LA. They need to step in and be like, "No, we're not going to do this. We're going to go ahead and veto. The NBA is going to veto this trade. You can't be doing that, man."
Well, they just had it. They just had it. The same thing in Brooklyn. They were together in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but to put them together with Kevin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul still there. Say Chris Paul decides to go to no, stop. They need to stop that. That's not going to happen. Cal said he
I know a
doesn't
lot
want
of
to.
Laker fans out there, but hey, it's
No, I
over.
don't. I don't. Stop that, Coach.
It's over. They're not going to be. They're not going to beat Golden State 4 times. They're not. They're not.
So they beat them 3 times during the regular season, but of course, 2 of those times was without Andre Wiggins, which Wiggins,
And
who actually
everybody was in and out. Throw the regular season out the window. When you talk about that in regular season, it's load management. Jokers on load management in the playoffs. They taking days off, and at the time, remember, the Lakers wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs. The way they started. So people was taking days off against the Lakers. But the Lakers ain't gonna beat them 4 times. Mark my words, not this season. Maybe moving on sometime. Not this season. Don't see it happening.
he said it's gonna be LA bloody. All those.
It might sweep them. Just throwing it out there. It's a possibility. You'll see all you need to see tonight. We'll see how it goes tonight.
Of course, being said, Tuesday night games tonight going on. Miami and New York game 2. Miami currently is up by 1 on the New York Knicks, and then of course the Lakers and Golden State Warriors face off for game 1 in Golden State.
It's about matchups. Go player for player matchup with Golden State and between them and the Lakers, player for player, position to position. And it's not really a surprise that the Lakers outmatched Memphis.
Correct.
When you look at the matchup, but it's a totally different matchup here. It's a different animal. Is Reeves gonna be running around doing what he's doing? I doubt it. Not with Clay on him. It ain't happening. He's locked up.
So there's obviously going to be a mismatch when whoever AD is up against is going to be a mismatch. If that's Looney, that's a mismatch.
No,
Um,
they're gonna play Draymond on him just to get under his skin.
and
That's their role.
who going to be on LeBron? Wiggins.
You can put Clay on LeBron, and you let Steph rest. You rest Steph by putting him on Reeves. So you put Clay on. You play Clay on LeBron, and Wiggins is a heck of a defender too.
That high tempo Warriors offense is going to have Ron biting that mouthpiece in half. I think we good. As long as LeBron doesn't start shooting, then we're good. If LeBron starts shooting 3-pointers in, it's going to be a problem. AD is key. I agree, Coach Cal.
I don't know what Perp's sipping over that. He must be sipping that Perp. I don't know what he's sipping on.
This is going to be AR-15's opportunity to show the world what he's made of.
Who gonna check Steph?
As I said before, you gotta let Steph get off. It's why expend your energy on checking Steph? Stop everyone else. Steph ain't gonna be able to score 100 points on his own.
I like that too. Bench will be key in this series, and that's something the Lakers don't have. Golden State deep. They're
So,
deep.
Coach Green, I asked you when are you going to immortalize the necklace? I seen your post. When are you going to immortalize the necklace? Are we going to see a customized version of that? Or when is when is that going to happen?
When is it going to get special? Very soon. Because I don't know if you know, but I do have my own creative business where I
Okay,
do custom work. So I make
okay,
things. I make all the shirts I wore this weekend. I
okay.
made us our towels that we had. So that is actually my small business. So it will get cute real soon. Don't worry. Everyone will see.
uh, Again, so of course, like I say, a lot of people has the side businesses. So especially now with that one particular coach, who did y'all go with for the uniform of the jerseys for the All Star game?
Oh, Timo did those.
Oh, okay.
I call it one-legged productions.
One-legged productions. Oh no.
T did those. Mo Gear did those for us.
Okay, more gear. Which he outfitted his whole team. I seen. So of course, you know what I'm saying, again, bigger and bigger and bigger. In Than just the basketball sport. And of course, everyone supporting one another. We look out for Coach Jazz's her. I ain't gonna say blinged out, but what she's gonna do next with her necklace, as she's dubbed it, cut off. What was that like, Coach? Cutting down the net in that moment to finish off. You know, what I'm saying, taking the nets down and be able to wear it. Of course, I know you want to get that feeling again, but what was that feeling like at that particular time? Being up there on that ladder with the scissors in hand.
I tell you what, I wanted to wear my heels up there, but I was like, that might be a little dangerous. So I had to put my flats on to really get up there and cut it down real nice. Now I got a few frays, as mentioned, but um, it felt good. I was very excited. That was my first time. It was high too. I had to get tall.
Had to get higher on the bench,
Yeah.
higher on
Like,
the ladder.
whoa, I got to take one more step. I thought I was good.
So basically, just like in anything else, did every player get an opportunity to
Yeah.
take a piece of the net home with them?
They got a little piece. They put it in their hat. They said they won as well. And then we also got, I can't say because I'm in school.
Okay, got you.
Cigars.
Yeah, thank you.
Euro Sports gave
Yeah,
him a box of cigars.
yeah,
Oh, they did. Okay. Oh, that's what
yeah. It
I
was
seen
really
earlier.
nice.
He had said. I seen earlier.
Yeah,
He had said so about that.
Mike did his thing.
Yeah, it was real nice. My
Yes.
mom was watching, and before I got the chance to even tell her I got one, she said, "That's mine." I'm like, "Oh wow, great." Can't even enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a nice touch, man. Oh, well, I got you on here, Trey. I want to thank you too, man. You
Yeah,
and Bishop coming out and doing your thing. Y'all did little videos out there. Had some cameraman duty. Hey, y'all made
I
the
saw you in
tournament.
that top bleacher,
Yeah,
moving.
y'all made the tournament.
I appreciate it. Well, yeah. It was of course, saying tapping in for Mike. He had to run and take care of some stuff, so he was like, "Oh yeah, we got you." Saying will be able to do that as well. At one point, I wasn't sure how we was. I had a whole a mindset of what it is, but getting there and paying attention and watching some of the stuff, which I started to realize like it was a lot of people which I missed or I didn't get to speak of, players and coaches alike. I didn't even go over to Warhawk or anything like that. So it's like, but for future references, of course, I have a mindset going. And so saying to be there and tap in and get with everybody and set up properly and kind of watch because you get there and you kind of be in awe of the whole situation. So you have to
Yeah,
I have to sit and walk myself back a couple of times. It's like okay, then of course coaches and stuff are tapped in and dialed in, so uh, they don't care to get in at that time. Saying they're trying to take care of business. So respectfully, so I
But
get it.
let me let me let me put my interviewer hat on for a second and,
right.
and, and go to you.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
Trey. So, in your opinion, what did you think about the tournament overall, from top to bottom?
So for me, being of course, like you said, being a person like doing tournaments, like I had a side hustle at one point where I was putting in tournaments for in this area in the area of Leesville, and so I of course was taking some things that actually I text my sports supervisor, and I was like, hey, some things in which for us to talk about a reference of just operations for basketball alone as going forward. So I thought it was a well ran tournament. The course for a special event in which we would have proceeded as uh, the food truck out there, saying, which everyone was going to
Did
run
you get
into.
that brisket?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll eat pork, so that was the only thing I was able to get from there. So it was like I was like, okay, what I'm saying,
That was
and
good.
$10, that thing was huge.
Hmm.
It was huge. It was a lot of food. Um, but then the whole operation just like the atmosphere it was exactly as it's talked about. I know Bishop seems to talk about it all the time, and where he's talking about how being in that type of atmosphere. So that clearly and concisely what it was, what I'm saying, and to sit up and be there, and some people recognize you. So I love the event, in which I wish I would have stayed been more days at it. But I have no quarrels with it, stuff like that. Of course, like you said, things in which all could get better. I'm very sure through your AAR, what people said, like Jazz just talked about the 8 o'clock game, in which to get it all accomplished, it's probably
Gotta,
nothing we can
yeah.
do about
Somebody
that.
got to do it.
Yeah,
I'm
somebody.
working it. I'm trying to work it. The 8 o'clock games, but here's and I understand where Jazz is coming from. Hey, as a top seed, you would think you want to get a prime time slot. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But in pool play, you're playing your top seed against the lower seed
Hmm.
in
So
the
someone
first
has to.
game. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of like you almost damned you do, you damned you don't.
Hmm.
You
And then
know,
It had to happen. It just hurt. That's all.
oh, it just hurt like it's just a little bit like the privilege point rule thing. It's like it's just going to
but
sit for a
I
second.
think after they played the 8 o'clock game, what time y'all play? 6?
Two. Oh no, I'm talking about on the semifinal day. The
Oh yeah,
semifinal, that
yeah.
was 8 o'clock, and then we played at 2.
Yeah, we try to do that so we can get some of the folks back. You know, those
Early
that
enough. Yeah.
want to fly home or whatever. So we want to get the championship done by 4:30, 5 o'clock. Now
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
we can
fine.
go back deeper,
It's
but
cool. But I want to note the one adjustment that was made so fast. That first day, you were there, Trey. That first day, everybody was slipping on
Oh
that
wow.
court
Yeah,
because it was so hot. We
yeah.
came in
the
that second
humidity.
day, it was freezing. I was like, oh, I guess we got to sacrifice the temperature for safety.
Well,
so,
it,
so it was fine.
that game when people was slipping and sliding, we actually made a call during that game to the civil engineers to come down
Yeah.
and lower the temperature because once the humidity picks up, that floor is gonna get slick, and
Yeah.
the gym happened to be packed.
Right.
People
Yeah.
was watching the game, so so they dropped the temp probably to about 59.
Yeah. It was cold, but it
So if
had
you
to
played an
happen.
8 o'clock game that next morning,
He was.
you had to have a coat.
So
Referee, the officials had coats on.
Yeah.
So to the both of y'all, the conversation in which Snow was talking about, speaking of last year, the official. So what was that like, Coach Greene? Of course, Mike, because you being the tournament director, the difference, not to sit up and talk about, saying anyone's body of work, but officials last year, officials this year, was it a huge disparity, or what was that like? Of course, I know, Mike, you went out and found some of the top ones that you could find. Um,
Um,
was it really different from last year?
it's the same crews, just
Mm,
interchange with some guys. Some guys that Mr. Rivers brings in. If they don't pan out, or if they don't grade well, just like the NBA does, just like the NFL does, Major League Baseball, everybody. You have your evaluators there who are evaluating officials. So if they're constantly messing up, then we don't bring them back. But
okay.
that's totally up to Mr. Rivers. He's in charge of bringing his crews. But like I said, all those guys are top D1 major conference officials. You know, and hey, if anybody had an advantage, it's Langley. They see them officials every day because they come from the East Coast.
Oh, I'm gonna say what? What
It's
advantage
like,
I
oh,
got?
it's like, okay, let's say you
Same,
about to say.
a lot of them are the same guys from basically the top guys that officiate the Capital Classic.
Mhm.
Right.
They're D1 guys as well. So a lot of
Yeah.
those guys, I'm pretty sure Coach Green's probably familiar with some of those guys.
Yeah, I was. And they were all like super approachable and they were willing to have conversations, which I appreciate because there's some things we played different rules all season.
Mhm.
And when I asked the question, they were like, that's that rule that you play with, but this here we're not doing that. So they were easy to talk to. They were always willing to teach me something. I learned a lot from them alone about how to approach refs or how to talk or how to some tips to bring myself down because you're sitting here screaming at these players and then I start screaming at them and they were like, hold on now. So they taught me
And the
that as well.
great thing about them, Trey, also as well, probably about 90% of them are former military.
Okay.
Right.
The most are retired military. So they were coming out to the Nationals. Well, we've been having them there for about 4 or 5 years now. Um, but they're actually putting on for, we had the Armed Forces committee there, sports committee, who's in charge of assigning officials for the Armed Forces tournament.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get those guys or get that association to come in and do our Armed Forces tournament um, this fall. And if
That'd be
if
great.
not this fall, we're definitely having them next year when Air Force hosts us at Lackland.
Okay. And so, which that, of course, is key. I know it was a lot. If you sit back and watch, especially from the perspective where he was in reference to where in the media area and looking like it, they was taking slack. Like they was every coach had something to say or had a question to ask. In the interacting, but like Perk was saying, uh, they let them play. Not too physical. The games you can get out of hand for them. And they kept things in the wraps, but they was taking some heat rounds here and there. Of course, I watched Coach Alex. He stayed on during their game. He stayed on the official the whole time, asking questions, challenging calls. So it's definitely not one of those things for the faint of heart. As I sat there listening to Bishop, of course, him being the official, he was talking about calls and stuff and doing his thing. So it was, and again, to going back to the original question, it was I like the event. I like being there, witnessing it. Um, to be able to see it from a fan perspective, a supporter's perspective, a media personality perspective. And I mean, I look forward to the next one coming up for nationals, as well as and for the most part, anything in the military, for the most part, as we all are supporters of that. But right now, it's about the basketball, so that'll go away for a second, and then it'll come back, as you said, during those seasons. Um, I greatly appreciate having y'all both on this morning, as I know all of us got to get to work and do something. I know Jazz is going to continue to talk that ish all day. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
When is it going to stop, Jazz? If it stop, you know what I'm saying?
Never.
Bad boy in the building. I thought you saw that we won't stop. So, uh, like you said, just like that, I got to get in and go into the office and do some stuff to catch up. Softball season here, so it's a short so, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't remove the fact that we got the NMBT a successful 14th year, ready to see the 15th year coming back. You got a successful JBLE Raptors National Military Basketball Champions for 2023.
Champs.
Opportunity to run it back. Of
Yes.
course,
When we do, I'm
uh-huh.
sorry, Trey.
Go ahead,
When we
go ahead, go ahead.
do, Mike, can we get a female cut for me? Because I just have one. Just have one ready because we gonna two piece.
Okay. Hey. Okay. I can do that.
I got both my pinky fingers in here.
I can do that.
So of course, if y'all will, of course, be able to tap in tonight as the Military Basketball Association will have a reveal in reference to their tournament coming up. As y'all have, if y'all haven't seen it already, they got another momentous moment as DirecTV is tapped in. Is going to few the is going to show their their tournament throughout the course of their weekend. Of course, we know CBS is going to be
That's
there
awesome.
to do their championship game. So another huge. As yesterday, I
They
saw
done made it.
yeah,
They done
it's
made it.
pushing
Because
military
DirecTV
basketball.
is owned by AT&T, so they done made it.
So pushing the line for military basketball, of course, to the point to where I know a lot of times when I hashtag CC, easy, ECE, basically to me that's everyone can eat, and hopefully that's what's going on with that, where everyone be able to eat off this. Push military basketball, let alone military sports, of course, to show the highlight military athlete, armed forces athletes that go in and did. I'm saying we did our thing already for the most part. I did 22 years, and it's like you wouldn't look and think that it would be anything like that. But you know, what I'm saying it comes back. It all comes back if everyone keeps doing their thing to push it forward. So of course, like I said, JBLE coach Jasmine Greene, 2023 coach, 2023 champions, Mike Richardson, National Military Basketball Tournament director, myself, Trey, your boy Trey, and we greatly appreciate y'all viewing today. We look forward to catch us, like I said, catch us tonight, 1800, or catch us tomorrow, 09, as we come back and talk more sports. Greatly appreciate y'all tapping in this morning, and peace.
Thanks for
See
having me.
y'all later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats.